They say ignorance is bliss. But what if the truth, however dark, is the only path to real freedom? What if everything you've believed about life, happiness, and purpose is just a carefully constructed illusion? We live in a world that worships distraction. From the moment we wake up, we are bombarded by noise, notifications, advertisements, obligations. We chase pleasure, success, validation, and yet, deep down, many of us feel a gnawing emptiness, a silent void that no achievement, no relationship, no possession can seem to fill. Why? Because beneath all the masks we wear, beneath the scripted roles of society, family, and ambition, lies a dark truth. Human existence is inherently solitary, fragile, and finite. No one escapes the march of time. No one escapes suffering. And no one truly knows why we are here. We are born without consent, thrown into a world we never asked for, given a name, a set of beliefs, and a list of expectations. But rarely, if ever, are we taught how to live authentically, or how to face the terrifying reality that none of this may have any meaning at all. Philosophers like Schopenhauer believe that human desire is a curse, that to be conscious is to suffer. Nietzsche called life a tragic struggle, where meaning is not found but created, often at great personal cost. Carl Jung said that unless we make the unconscious conscious, it will rule our lives, and we will call it fate. And this, unconscious? It's filled with the parts of ourselves we refuse to see, the fear, the rage, the loneliness, the despair. We bury these shadows to survive in a society that demands constant positivity. But in doing so, we become strangers to ourselves. And yet, it's in this darkness where something profound happens. When we stop running, stop numbing, and actually sit with the rawness of our existence, we begin to wake up. We begin to see that life's beauty is inseparable from its pain, that love is made sacred by the possibility of loss, that freedom only matters because we are not here forever. The truth is, we are temporary. Everything we love, everything we build, even the stars in the sky, will one day vanish. But instead of that being a reason to despair, what if that's the reason to live fully? To speak our truth, to risk vulnerability, to chase meaning, not because it's guaranteed, but because it's worth the fight. Maybe the point isn't to escape the darkness. Maybe the point is to walk through it, eyes wide open, and find ourselves on the other side, not as victims of a cruel universe, but as creators of our own light. Because when you've faced the void and refused to look away, when you've confronted your demons and chosen to keep going, that's when you begin to live not just a life, but a conscious, awakened existence. So if you're feeling lost, broken, or numb, good. That's your invitation. That's your signal to stop pretending and start asking the real questions. Not, how can I be happy, but what is real? What is true? What am I here to become? The dark truth about human existence is that we are alone, uncertain, and mortal. But the luminous truth hidden within it is that in that very darkness lies our chance to rise, to evolve, to become more than what we were told we could be. And that is the kind of truth that sets you free. There is a silent void that exists within every human being, a kind of invisible weight we carry from the moment we become conscious of ourselves. It's not something we talk about in daily life, not something we post about on social media, but it's always there, just beneath the surface. That quiet sense of unease, the moments of silence that feel deafening, the feeling that no matter how much we achieve or how many people we surround ourselves with, something fundamental is still missing. This is the void, the raw, existential truth of our aloneness in the universe. And while most people run from it, avoid it, numb it, or drown it in distractions, it is only by confronting this void that we begin to truly awaken. We're conditioned from childhood to believe that life should be happy, fulfilling, and meaningful. We're given stories of success, of family, of finding the one, of achieving dreams that promise contentment at the end of the road. But many come to find that even after checking off every box, the inner emptiness remains. The dark truth about human existence is that the void is not a glitch in the system. It is the system. It is the default state of the conscious mind, suddenly aware of itself in a world that offers no clear answers. We are thrown into existence without instruction, without certainty, without guarantees. We are aware of our mortality, our limitations, and the unpredictable chaos of life. This awareness is the price of consciousness, and it hurts. We're conditioned from childhood to believe that life should be happy, fulfilling, and meaningful. We're given stories of success, of family, of finding the one, of achieving dreams that promise contentment at the end of the road. But many come to find that even after checking off every box, the inner emptiness remains. The dark truth about human existence is that the void is not a glitch in the system. It is the system. It is the default state of the conscious mind, suddenly aware of itself in a world that offers no clear answers. We are thrown into existence without instruction, without certainty, without guarantees. We are aware of our mortality, our limitations, and the unpredictable chaos of life. This awareness is the price of consciousness, and it hurts. But that pain is not meaningless. It is a signal. It is the call to awaken. Most people hear the call and try to silence it. They overwork, overeat, overconsume, overthink. They surround themselves with noise because silence is terrifying. But the few who choose to stop running, to face that darkness without flinching, are the ones who begin to transform. Because when you sit with the void, when you stop distracting yourself from your own soul, something begins to shift. You begin to see the world and yourself with terrifying clarity. You start to realize that you've been living a life based on fear, on expectations, on borrowed dreams. You realize how much of your identity was shaped by trying to be accepted, to be admired, to be safe. And then you begin to ask, what do I believe? What do I want? Who am I when everything else is stripped away? These are the questions that arise when you stop avoiding the darkness. And though they are painful, they are the doorway to freedom. Confronting the void doesn't mean surrendering to despair. It means embracing the fact that life has no inherent meaning, so it's up to you to create one. It means accepting that suffering is part of being human, but you can choose how to respond to it. It means understanding that while you are alone, in your mind, you are also capable of connection, of love, of beauty, precisely because of that aloneness. Awakening doesn't come from pretending life is perfect. It comes from seeing it in all its flawed, fleeting, painful glory and choosing to live it anyway, with courage and presence. The void will never fully disappear. It is part of who we are. But once you stop fearing it, it loses its power to control you. You begin to live not from fear but from truth, not in denial but in awareness. And in that awareness, you begin to build a life that is yours, not someone else's idea of what your life should be. The dark truth about human existence is that there is no map, no script, no savior. But within that darkness lies the most profound freedom. The ability to create your own meaning, to walk your own path, and to live a life of depth, presence, and purpose. And that journey begins the moment you stop running and choose to face the void. We are born into a world that pretends to know the answers. From the moment we open our eyes, we are handed a script. Follow the rules, meet expectations, pursue success, find happiness. Society, religion, culture, even family, each offers a version of what life should mean. And for a while, many of us accept it without question. We chase achievements, relationships, security, and the promise that if we just do it right, we'll feel whole. But the dark truth about human existence is that life's meaning is not handed to us. There is no universal script that fits every soul. Meaning is not something we find waiting at the end of a path. It is something we must create with our own hands, from the raw materials of our pain, our joy, and our choices. There comes a point in every conscious life where the illusion begins to crack. Maybe it's a loss, a failure, a quiet moment alone that becomes unbearable. Suddenly, the things we were told would make us happy no longer satisfy. The beliefs we inherited feel hollow. The identity we've built begins to feel like a costume. And in that moment, we are faced with an unsettling realization. No one really knows what this life is all about. There is no grand blueprint, no fixed purpose. Just us, alone with our thoughts, our questions, and the terrifying freedom to... It's a heavy truth to carry, and many reject it. It's easier to stay inside the lines, to live a borrowed life, than to face the abyss of meaninglessness. But those who dare to accept this truth, those who stop waiting for life to hand them a purpose and begin to shape one themselves, those are the ones who truly awaken. Because meaning is not something outside of us. It is something we bring into the world through how we live, how we love, and what we stand for. Creating meaning is not easy. It demands responsibility, awareness, and the courage to live without guarantees. It means building a life not for applause, but for authenticity. It means choosing values not because they are popular, but because they speak to your soul. It means doing the hard inner work of asking, what matters to me? And having the bravery to follow the answer, even when it leads you away from comfort and into the unknown. We create meaning every time we show up fully for someone we love. Every time we pursue a passion, not for the outcome, but for the experience. Every time we speak the truth, even when our voice trembles. Meaning is born in the quiet acts of integrity, in the decision to rise after failure, in the moments when we choose growth over fear. It is not found in grand accomplishments alone, but in the way we live our ordinary days, with intention, with awareness, with heart. The dark truth is that no one can do this for us. There is no savior, no final answer, no perfect path. But within that darkness lies the seed of liberation. Because when you stop waiting for life to give you meaning, you become the artist of your own existence. You pick up the brush and paint your own vision. You build a life that reflects your inner truth, not someone else's expectations. And that is where the real beauty lies. Not in a life that is perfect or easy, but in a life that is yours. A life that honors your wounds, your wisdom, and your unique spark. In a meaningless universe, the act of creating your own meaning is the most powerful thing you can do. It is an act of rebellion, an act of courage, and ultimately, an act of love. There is a part of you that you hide from the world. A side you've been taught to fear, to suppress, to deny. It's the part that carries your anger, your jealousy, your guilt, your shame. It whispers things you don't want to admit, shows you reflections you don't want to see. This is the shadow self, the hidden layer of your being that society told you was unacceptable. And yet, the dark truth about human existence is that the more we repress this shadow, the more control it gains over us. Freedom doesn't come from denying who we are. It comes from facing that darkness, understanding it, and ultimately, embracing it. From a young age, we learn which parts of ourselves are good and which parts are bad. We're praised for being polite, obedient, kind. We're punished directly or indirectly for expressing rage, sadness, or defiance. And so we start to bury those pieces, locking them away deep inside. But what we push into the unconscious doesn't disappear. It festers, it grows, it leaks out in ways we don't recognize in passive aggression, anxiety, insecurity, addiction, self-sabotage. The parts of ourselves we reject become the silent architects of our suffering. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." What he meant is that our unexamined darkness rules us from the shadows. We think we're making free choices, but often we're just reacting, driven by old wounds, unresolved emotions, and hidden fears we've never dared to explore. The truth is, we cannot become whole by cutting ourselves into pieces. We cannot find peace by pretending we are only light. Wholeness requires us to turn toward our shadow, not away from it. Embracing the shadow self doesn't mean becoming consumed by it. It means acknowledging its existence with compassion and curiosity. It means asking why we feel rage instead of suppressing it, why we envy others instead of pretending we don't, why we judge, why we lie, why we hide. These questions aren't comfortable, but they are necessary, because when we shine a light on the darkest corners of our psyche, we begin to understand ourselves on a deeper level. We begin to heal, not by erasing our flaws, but by learning from them. Our shadow often holds the keys to our power. The anger we repress might be the fire we need to set boundaries. The fear we bury could reveal where we've abandoned ourselves. The sadness we avoid might carry the message we've never allowed ourselves to feel. When we embrace the shadow, we reclaim the parts of ourselves we lost trying to fit in, to be liked, to survive. We stop being puppets to our pain and start becoming the authors of our healing. This work is not glamorous. It doesn't come with applause or validation. It requires brutal honesty, emotional courage, and the willingness to feel deeply uncomfortable. But through it, we become more real, more grounded, more human. We stop needing to wear a mask. We stop projecting our wounds onto others. And we begin to walk through life with a quiet kind of strength. The strength that comes from knowing who we are, darkness and all. The dark truth about human existence is that we are not just made of light. We are made of shadow, too. But the shadow is not our enemy. It is our mirror. And if we have the courage to face it, to listen to it, to learn from it, we discover that even in the darkness, there is wisdom. Even in the mess, there is meaning. And even in the most broken parts of us, there is something sacred, waiting to be understood, not rejected. One of the hardest truths to accept about being human is that everything ends. Every breath we take brings us closer to our final one. Every moment that passes is a moment we will never get back. We live our lives with the illusion of permanence, acting as if there will always be more time, more chances, more tomorrows. But the dark truth about human existence is that we are temporary. Our bodies, our relationships, our achievements, even the memories of us, will one day disappear. And yet, it is this very fragility that makes life sacred. Without death, life would lose its urgency. Without endings, nothing would hold meaning. We often avoid thinking about mortality. We treat it like a distant event, something that happens to others, something that belongs to hospitals, cemeteries, and late chapters of life. But death is not a stranger. It walks beside us every day. It's in the goodbye we didn't know was final, in the aging of our bodies, in the loss of time we can never reclaim. Most people spend their lives trying to forget this truth, keeping busy, staying distracted. But the few who face it directly, who really understand that their time is finite, are the ones who begin to live more deeply, more honestly, more fully. When you understand that your life will end, suddenly the small things begin to matter. The way sunlight hits the trees, the sound of someone's laughter, the way your heart beats a little faster when you speak your truth. These moments, which once felt ordinary, become precious. You begin to value presence over productivity, depth over speed, love over ego. You begin to let go of the meaningless noise and cling to what is real. Death doesn't diminish life, it defines it. It creates the boundaries that make every choice, every connection, every experience profound. There is beauty in the temporary, if we dare to see it. A flower that blooms forever is not special. A sunset that never fades loses its magic. What gives something value is the knowledge that it won't last, and so it is with us. The people we love become sacred not because they're perfect, but because we don't know how much time we'll have with them. The dreams we chase matter not because they're guaranteed, but because we might never get another shot. Mortality forces us to pay attention, to show up, to make our moments count. Accepting death doesn't mean living in fear. It means living with clarity. It means recognizing that your days are limited and therefore incredibly valuable. It means asking yourself if the life you're living is the one you truly want. Are you speaking the words you need to say? Are you spending time on things that truly matter to you? Are you loving with your whole heart, even when it's risky? The dark truth about human existence is that we all have an expiration date. But within that truth lies the possibility for transformation. Because once you stop pretending you're immortal, you stop wasting time. You start living like someone who knows that every sunrise is a gift. You forgive faster. You dream bigger. You stop waiting for the right time because you realize that the right time is now. And maybe that's what makes life sacred. Not its comfort or certainty, but its impermanence. The fact that nothing lasts forever is what makes everything matter. The awareness of death gives birth to gratitude, courage, and love in its purest form. So don't run from your mortality. Let it wake you up. Let it teach you how to truly live. Because in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, but the life in your years. And that, more than anything, is the light hidden inside the darkness.